Michelle, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, you as a leader, you start to like, okay, oh my God, what am I going to tell them? Like, talk to them about, what can I share with them? What kind of information can I give them? And you start to sort of like kind of come to a dead end. And you want to share really good information, but you kind of, like Michelle said, you feel almost tapped out. So on my drive one day, I was thinking like, okay, well, I'll go on YouTube and I'll find some like good calls, and I'll create my own call. And then I thought, you know what? Why don't I get one of my coaches to do this? Because you can learn so much by preparing for a team call. That's why I love doing these calls for my team, because I am sort of learning something in the process of creating my notes for this call. It's sort of a selfish reason almost. I am sort of learning a new process or learning some new things to implement, and then I share it with them. So I thought I shouldn't be taking all of this, this opportunity. I want my coaches to feel this as well. And sort of, we all have something to share. We all know something about this business, or we all need to know something about this business. So that's why doing a team call is such an awesome opportunity. And it's a safe environment. It's not like we're going on, the big true team and presenting to people that we don't know or talk to. It's a safe environment. It's Saturday morning. It's not, anything scary. And, it just makes you sort of figure out what you want to share, and you make some notes. And I don't know, I just think it's a really good process for everyone to do. Kate did our team call last week, and I know she just had some really awesome takeaways from doing it herself, because she had to almost do a bit of a gut check and think okay, so I need to step up my game here. And I think her doing that call really, really helped her in a lot of ways. And then someone else at the end of the call volunteered to do next week. So it's awesome. And I think it sort of makes you into a leader. And yes, it's kind of scary and you get nervous, but I think it's a huge, huge stepping stone in your business. So hopefully you guys will even volunteer without even having to be asked. I think that's a really sign of a true leader for sure. So what I am going to talk about today is 4 steps for attracting your dream team, or even your dream challenger. Okay. So if you are one of my coaches, I apologize because this is sort of a repeat of a few weeks ago, but I think it's still valuable information. And we can hear these things all the time. Every single week, you can hear it from myself. You can hear it from Michelle. You can hear it from Bonnie Engel. But hearing it over and over again from different people at different points in your business, I think is so valuable, because maybe someone who was on this call that I did 3 weeks ago, something today I say is going to sort of trigger something in you. So everything we talk about is constantly repeat information, I think. It's just we're presenting it in a different way. So the 4 steps to attracting your dream team or your dream challenger is number 1, determining your avatar. Number 2, building a strong foundation. Number 3, using your story. And number 4, sealing the deal. So I'm going to go through all of those. I hope you guys have a pen and a paper, because I do have one action item that I'm going to have you guys do, but we'll get to that. So the first thing in attracting your team is creating your avatar. So I had no idea what that meant. When I heard Michelle talk about an avatar, I did not know what that meant. Basically what it is it's your dream challenger, your dream coach, someone who you picture that you want to attract. And it's really, really important that we do that, because if you are trying to appeal to a huge range of people, you're never going to actually touch anybody. If you're trying to talk to every single age group out there on Facebook, moms, non-moms, working moms, stay-at-home moms, people who have 100 pounds to lose, people who are like the skinny fat, people who have, lots of confidence, or people who have no confidence, people who struggle with depression, people who don't. You can't talk to every single person. What ends up happening is you end up talking to nobody. You are never going to connect on a really deep level with a specific person. in the beginning, when we start off as coaches, I think that we are talking to everybody, and that's okay. That's just how we get started, is we're sort of just, we're announcing our business, and we're talking to pretty much anyone out there on Facebook. But if you want to grow this business and keep going with this business, you really need to narrow in on who you are talking to and who you want to be on your team, right? You don't want just anybody and everybody to join your team. You can't work with people who you aren't like, or who are not your people. Like, it's going to be really hard to grow a business with those people that you have nothing in common with and you can't connect with them. So you need to really narrow in on who you are talking to and make it specific. You might think that you don't want to leave anybody out. And I remember thinking that way too. Like, well, if I only talk to moms, what about all those people that are watching me that aren't moms? Like, it's okay. You're still going to attract some people outside of your market, but you have to be consistent with who you are talking to. So you need to really think about this person. Who is it that you want on your team? Who are the people that you want in your challenge groups? And you need to think about what kind of a person they are, what qualities they have, what traits they have, what motivates them, that sort of thing. So when I took the time and did this, and I only took a couple of minutes to do this, this is sort of what I came up with. So this is my avatar. This is my person that I am talking to. So she's in between the ages of 28 and 32. She's a stay-at-home mom. She only has about 10 to 15 pounds to lose. She wakes up every morning when her kids wake up, and she stays in her jammies, drinking coffee, watching TV all morning, with her kids just sort of running around wild. She feels tired, lethargic, and she's just going through the motions. She loves being a mom, but she also finds it a bit repetitive and boring. Her kids never sleep, so she always has used that as an excuse as to why she can't really, make any plans, why she can't have a social life, why she can't work out, why she doesn't have time to eat healthy. She just uses that as an excuse all the time. I don't sleep. My kids don't sleep. She's happy, but she doesn't see her life changing in any big way in the future. She loves the idea of working out and eating healthy, but she doesn't even know where to start. And truthfully, she doesn't believe that she could actually stick to something like that. Her relationship with her husband is okay, but often she is bitter and resentful with her husband because he has a life outside of this house and outside of her kids. She knows it would be amazing to not have to worry about money, but she doesn't see their financial life changing. She goes to bed every night and knows she will just repeat the same process over and over again, which isn't terrible, but it's not overly exciting either. She wants passion in her life in every single way, but she has no idea how to even achieve that. So this is the person that I am talking to. Every single one of my posts, I am talking to that person. Everything that I say, I am speaking to her. And the reason why I'm talking to her is because that was me. That was exactly who I was. Like, I can picture her sitting on this couch, feeling those feelings and thinking those thoughts. So that is exactly who I talk to in every single post that I make. So when you think about your avatar, it has to be who you were or who you are right now. It really depends on where you are in your journey. So I am a different person than my avatar, but that's who I was. So if you are starting out your journey, your avatar is going to be very similar to how you are right now, and your avatar changes. That's my avatar a year ago was a lot different than who it is now, and maybe even a year from now, my avatar is going to change. So you have to constantly be updating that avatar so that your posts sort of are talking to a different person, not a different person all the time, but you're changing and you are evolving into a different person, and your avatar is sort of evolving as well. So I want you guys to take 3 minutes right now, and I want you to write out who your avatar is. And all these calls are so important. Like, we take away great information, but this is the most important part of this call right now, because this is an action item. And if you choose to like scroll Facebook right now, you're doing yourself a disservice, because you can't create really good content and you can't attract people for your team if you don't know who you are talking to. So even though you think you may know, I want you guys to get it on paper, because having that piece of paper in your notebook or at your computer, wherever, all the time when you're making posts, it is going to help you so much in this business. So 3 minutes I will give you guys, and just sort of write down as many qualities of your avatar.
Megan, do you still talk to that same avatar, or has your avatar changed a little bit because now you've changed?
That is my avatar right now.
Okay. So it's you want to talk to the people who you were when you first started, because they could probably relate to how you were feeling and see your journey as it is now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
That I'll just jump in. That's something that, because I've been here for 3 years now, that I have to check myself a lot, because I have to make sure that I'm still talking to the person I was 3 years ago, because the person I am now is like light years away from the person that I was 3 years ago. So I actually have to, I don't necessarily go rewrite it all the time, but I go re-look at it and make sure that I'm still talking to that woman that has no confidence, that feels insecure, especially if I'm trying to attract challengers. Coaches, I think, is a little bit different, but when I'm trying to attract challengers, I talk about feeling so heavy and insecure and just being so sick of it, like looking in that mirror one more time, dressing in black one more time. Like I have to go back there, because I'm not there really anymore, but that's who I want to talk to sort of, because that's who I was. So if you've been here for a while, I think you do have to remember how you felt when you signed up or when you first started a challenge, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And I think because when I first started, I didn't know who I was talking to, because I didn't know that I was like that. Like it's taken me a while to like process the way I did feel. And that's part of your story, because I didn't think I felt that way. And now 2 years later, I can look back and say, my God, I did feel that way. Like that was me. But at the time I did not know it. And even 6 months into coaching, I didn't know that was me. So it takes some, like, you have to be really aware of how far you've come and what you did feel like before this opportunity.
I think that this is the first year, like maybe in the last 8 months or so, that I've actually taken the time to just sit with a coffee in my hand in quiet and really think about how I felt 3 years ago. Like it's very easy to get reading everyone else's, like as a new coach, you read everybody else's posts and you feel like you know what you're supposed to say, but I never took the time to really figure out exactly how I was feeling, like what Megan was saying. And I've been doing this a long time. And it's interesting, like she said, to really dive into like, wow, you know, I was successful. Like by all rights, I had already had a very successful life, but I was so unfulfilled and so unhappy. And I think about now, every time someone came into my salon and wanted something like different or a bride, it caused me, I was so insecure even about my talent as a hairdresser that I'd been doing for 20 years. I was so insecure and had no confidence that it would make me like, I was nervous, like a little kid butterfly, not excited nervous, like stressed right out nervous, because I had no confidence in any area of my life. And I didn't really know that about myself until I've taken the time to just sit and reflect. So 3 minutes is fine, but I challenge you sometime this weekend to find like half an hour and just sit with yourself and really think about it. And I mean, that's come to me with hours and hours of personal development to be able to sit down and really, really like hash this out in my head. But since I've done that, I just know exactly who I want to talk to now, because I know how they're feeling totally without it being kind of superficial.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can't, I only gave 3 minutes for the purpose of this call, but there are some things that after this call, I don't have any more action items specifically for this call, but there's going to be action items that you really need to take after this call. And part of that is finishing your avatar. The hopes is that you got some things down on paper so that you're triggered to go back and finish it, because I know this call ends and you got to jump in the shower, or you got to start your workout, or you got to go tend to your kids, or you got to run off to work. Like, I get that. And then we get lost in what we even talked about this morning. So hopefully you have some key points about who your avatar is, so that later today or tonight or tomorrow you can go and finish it. Because I mean, I really think until you get that avatar out on paper and who it is you're talking to, you're still just kind of talking to everybody on Facebook, and you got to narrow in on who it is you're speaking to. So the next point here is number 2, building a strong foundation. So like I said, creating your avatar is very, very important. However, you need to have a strong foundation as well. And the foundation is your storefront, and your storefront is your Facebook page. Okay. So if you don't have a good Facebook page rocking right now, your avatar is not seeing anything. So the two of these things are such key points in moving your business forward. Your Facebook page is your first impression. So treat it like your storefront. Treat it like you're walking in, you're on the street and you're looking at all these stores. You're not going to go into some store that looks all dumpy and like, has nothing appealing. Like, I don't know, if I walked past a store that was all like leather and handcuffs, like I probably am not going to walk in. But if it's all pink and pretty, I'm going to walk in. So what do you want your storefront to look like? Your Facebook page has to be very consistent with what you want to attract. Okay, it has to be consistent with what you want to attract. So if you are having trouble attracting coaches to your team, are you posting about the business consistently? If you're having trouble getting challengers into your challenge group, are you posting about challenge groups? Are you posting about what challenge groups have done for you and what they've done for other challengers? Are you posting about that stuff? Because if you're not, you are not going to attract those people. Just like, a lot of people who watch us Beachbody coaches, because let's be honest, there's lots of coaches out there. A lot of them don't realize that there are two sides to Beachbody. They know we sell programs. They know we drink shakes. But a lot of them do not know that there is another side of this, and that's a business opportunity. So I think that we are very quick to talk about challenge groups, and we're pretty good about that, but we're not so good about sharing the business side. And maybe we only sprinkle that in every, week, or even far fewer than that. Maybe once a month we throw out a coaching post and it makes us want to vomit. But we have to be constantly doing that, because people do not know that we even offer a business side to this. And if you're not even showing that you offer challenge groups, people don't even know that you have a challenge group to join. They think you're just this like super awesome person on Facebook sharing recipes and talking about your workout. Honestly, I firmly believe that there are a lot of people watching some of you guys right now, and that's all they think you're doing. Like, I remember watching Michelle in the beginning and thinking like, this is so crazy that she's doing this. And like, she's offering these free groups. And I mean, I wasn't paying a whole ton of attention to her post, but I just remember thinking in my head, that's so amazing that she's doing that for all of us on Facebook. Like, she's so like, this is so cool, these groups and stuff. So it's not until I really looked into it further. And even when she posted about Shakeology, I messaged her because I didn't even know I could get it from her. Like, so we really need, and Michelle, I'm not trying to throw you under the bridge or anything at all. See, this is why I like to talk. But it's so important that we are always like really letting people know that we do have something to join for your loyal followers who are tuning in every single morning to see your motivational posts. We have to sometimes throw a spin on that and let them know that they have something that we can join, right? Otherwise you're just sharing your workout.
And Megan, that's a really, really good point, because I've had messages from people where I think that on my Facebook page, I feel like everybody should know that I'm a Beachbody coach, but a lot of them don't know. And as much as you think that you are putting out like good content and good value, are you really telling them that they can buy these things from you? Like I've had people say to me, oh, just like what you said, Megan, oh, that like, where do you buy that energized drink from? Or where do you buy your shakes from? Where can I get it? And I'm like, dude, you can get it from me. but unless you share that, like people don't know. And especially if you're adding to your network consistently and every day, that there could be somebody that's only seen your stuff for a week. So do they know that they can buy from you? Mm-hmm. So it's a really good point.
And I mean, of course, there's a fine line too, right? Like between like vomiting, buy, join. And like, it's such a fine line. If you do it too much, you're salesy. If you don't do it at all, well, you're not moving a business forward at all. So you really have to find something that feels good to you, but also that if someone comes and looks at your page very quickly and just checks out a few posts, they get that feeling within, a few scrolls, right? I'm going to talk about the whole scroll thing as well. Okay, so I have a bit of an example because I had someone message me a little while ago, and she was selling, I know some of you guys have got this message too, like it's like a Fitbit, and it's like a super duper fancy Fitbit that like controls your blood pressure and your sugar levels, and like it's like some supreme Fitbit almost. And she messaged me about it and was like, oh, it was totally scripted. Would you take 2 minutes to watch this video and tell me what you think, blah, blah, blah. So I went before even responding to her, because I was kind of like, oh, what is this? So I went to her Facebook page, because I thought if she is messaging me about something, like something that she's selling and something that she obviously believes in, because she wouldn't be selling it, I want to see what this is all about. I don't want to just go to like a website and check out the link she sent me. I want to go to her Facebook. So I went over there. I didn't see anything, nothing about this little gadget that she was selling that had supposedly changed her life. I saw nothing. I didn't see any posts from other people about it. I didn't even see a picture, nothing. Her profile picture or her profile page had no mention of this thing at all. So I went to her message and I wrote back and I said, oh, this sounds really interesting. I just went and looked at your Facebook page hoping to sort of get an idea of what it's done for you, but I didn't see anything. And she said, oh, well, I'm just sort of trying to keep it a little bit quiet. And, I just don't want to put it out there too much. Well, I wasn't interested at all. Maybe I wouldn't have been interested, but because we do what we do, I wanted to sort of see social proof of this working for her or for other people. And I saw nothing. So that was sort of a bit of a trigger to me, like, okay, so what happens when I am sending messages out to people, invites even, and yeah, maybe they're in my support group, but maybe they turned the notifications off and they don't even see my Fit to Be a Mama post 3 times a day, which most people aren't. So I send them an invite to a challenge group or to the coaching opportunity saying, oh, it's amazing, blah, blah, blah. You know what they do is they go to my Facebook profile and they go and have a look. And what they would have seen a month ago was nothing, because I was like a closet coach. I had my little group and I was very comfortable in there, but I was a closet coach. There was nothing on my page mentioning coaching, the 21-day fix, working out, nothing. There was like maybe a picture from 3 weeks ago that I was tagged in doing a plank challenge in my free group. That was it. And maybe some shared shit that people had tagged me in. It was garbage. Like my page was embarrassing. There was nothing on it at all. And then I started thinking, okay, so I am friend requesting lots of people every single day consistently, which is what we all should be doing. You know what they're doing. When you see you have a Facebook friend request from Michelle Moore, what are you going to do before you accept it? You're going to go click on her profile and you're going to look. And what are you going to see? Well, if you look at Michelle's, you're going to see some awesome stuff, right? Like more than likely you're going to accept her friend request because she's sharing awesome value. She looks awesome with her daughter and she just looks happy. And I want to see more of her stuff. So if people go to your profile right now, what are they going to see? Because I'm telling you, mine was embarrassing, like totally embarrassing. So I want you guys to sort of do a gut check and what are they seeing? And Michelle's been telling us this for such a long time to post on her personal page. And it took me to sort of come to that realization on my own, because I always have to sort of realize things on my own. And, you know, you guys will realize it too on your own time for sure. And you have to be comfortable. But I'm not saying you need to start posting challenge groups and live videos on your page right away, because you have to feel comfortable doing those. Well, I guess you have to feel comfortable with being uncomfortable, because I'm not comfortable with any of it. But you have to have something on your personal page, or people like have no clue what you are doing. So it is so important that we start doing that. And I know Michelle is probably like, God, how many times have I said this? But maybe hearing it from someone else too, right? It makes sense. Like I'm sure all of you right now are thinking, oh, what does my personal page look like? Because I can't be the only one that was sort of embarrassed with what mine looked like. Okay, so I kind of got off track here. So if someone is accepting your friend request, or you sent them an invite and they want to go check out what you have to offer, they're going to scroll 3 times. That is what it is. Every coach will say that, every network marketer will say that that's what they do 3 times, because we don't have the ability to stick with anything longer than that amount of time. We are on Facebook and we're moving on to something else. So it's very quick when people are coming to check out what we're doing. So in 3 scrolls, so you're going to need to go to your page after this. That's another action. And in 3 scrolls, people need to see that you are a Beachbody coach. You are product of the product, meaning you are working out, you're drinking Shakeology, and you are getting some sort of results, whether that's a physical transformation, mental, but that you're sharing those sort of results. Like, oh my God, today I woke up earlier than yesterday. Like just shit like that. It doesn't have to be, I now have 6-pack abs. Like that's not what I'm talking about, but sharing your mental transformation, whatever it is, that you have challenge groups that people can join, and that there's something about you. And I think this is where we sometimes forget to share things, is that you need to be sharing things that make you relatable to your avatar. And this is where it all ties in, because if you don't know who you're talking to, you're not relating to anybody. So you have to be sharing those things about you that relate to the person watching you, not the millions of people on Facebook, but that one person who you are speaking to. Show up every single day. Their high caliber people will not sign up with a wandering ship. I love that quote. So high caliber people will not sign up with a wandering ship. If you are not showing up every single day, why would people trust you? If you are not being consistent in your own journey, why on earth would someone invest $184 to join you? Like, that's crazy, right? We wouldn't do that. We're going to join the person who's super consistent and showing up every single day. Hard-working people are going to sign up with hard-working people. So if you want to attract hard workers, dedicated coaches, you have to be hardworking and a dedicated coach. High quality people will attract high quality people. So those are just sort of statements that sort of really stood out when I read them. High quality people will attract high quality people. Okay, that's the people we want to be talking to. Okay, so number 3 is using your story. So again, this ties back in with everything. There are so many Beachbody coaches out there. Like, I know we see a lot because we're like in our own little world with Beachbody coaches, but there are a lot of Beachbody coaches out there starting their journey every single day. And the one thing that we all have in common is we're all working out, we're all drinking our shake, we're all happy, we take selfies, we're wearing swag, we read personal development, like we're great people, we're join me, rah, 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 rah. So what is going to make you different than every single other coach out there that's posting about her killer workout and how it's leg day and, oh, this shake has changed my life? How are you any different than the 450,000 coaches out there on social media? Because you have to be different than them, and you have to be yourself, and you have to have your own story. So you have to know what your story is. If you aren't, okay. So having your story, that's what's going to attract your avatar. And when you have a good Facebook page, you can specifically talk to your avatar. So again, that's how it all goes together. You can't sort of do one of these things and expect the puzzle to sort of fit together. You have to do everything. Don't underestimate your story. I did not think that I had a story at all. I didn't. I had no weight loss story. I always sort of thought that I almost wish I did have a weight loss story. Like, oh, I lost 50 pounds using Beachbody products. Like, how awesome. People are gonna want to join me because I have that weight loss story. But I don't have that story. Like, maybe I lost 5 pounds, maybe. I don't know. I'm probably heavier now than I was after I had my babies, to be honest. So no, I probably have gained weight. But your story is very important. It has a place in social media, and it does matter. So we all have read this book, hopefully. If you have been a coach on this team for more than a month, I sincerely hope you've read it, because Michelle has drilled it into our head for the last, a couple months now. If you've done Coach Basics, this is what you should have read. So unless you are in Coach Basics right now reading this book, we've all read this book, right? Right? So what I'm going to share with you guys is on page 56 is how to create your story. This is very simple to do. So there are 4 elements to your story. I'm going to just read them out to you right now, what the 4 things are. Who you are and where you've been. Number 2, what's happened in your life to cause you to look for something more. Number 3, how you heard about your company and why you had to be part of it. And number 4, what it's going to do for you or what it's doing for you. You have to have a story. If you don't have a story, you need to stop today and create your story, because you have to have a story. If you've done Coach Basics, you should have already done this, so you should have this somewhere. So hopefully this is just repeat information for you guys. But you need to share one piece of that story every single day. Just a little snippet of your story every single day, because that's what's going to attract your avatar. Your story is attracting the person that you're trying to speak to. I'm going to read you my story really quickly so you can just see how simple this flows and how everybody can make this story work. Because again, I did not think I had a story. So I am a mom of 4 young children. And since having my first baby 7 years ago, I have been consumed with everything that comes with being a mom. I was not taking care of myself. I was unhealthy. I was tired, and I lacked motivation. I thought that was just how being a mom was supposed to feel. That was the first part. The second part is I heard about Shakeology through a longtime family friend, and I thought it would be perfect for me. Finally, a way I could fuel my body right while still being able to run around with my kids. I immediately knew Shakeology and Beachbody programs was something I wanted to share with everyone I knew. And then number 3, I am now growing a team of like-minded women. I run this business from home in between all the mom cracks. I now see that this is a way for us to create the lifestyle and future we have always wanted, and I am excited to inspire more women and moms to dream big as well. And the last part, in just 2 years into the business, I am working towards replacing my full-time income as a registered nurse, all while being home and present with my kids. So that did not take me long to craft at all. And the great thing about doing your story like that and making it sort of under a minute, if you're to read it out loud, is I can take parts of that and create posts from that all the time, because that does not tell my whole story. That's just a very brief synopsis of my story. And I can pull from that all the time, pull little tidbits to throw in my posts. So another action item for you guys to do is create your story. Go to page 56 of this book that we all have, right? And create your story if you have not yet. Okay, so when you're sharing your story on social media, you do not have to make these long drawn out posts to always be sharing your story. They don't need to be your Sunday night beautiful long posts that we all like to do on Sunday nights, right? These can be little Friday morning, little like 2-liners, just sharing your story. Could always be sharing your story. It can be very quick. When you know your story and you know your avatar, you can do these little jabs all the time with your story in them. Because if you are not sharing your story, you are just another Beachbody coach out there. I'm sorry to say it, but you are. You're just one of the hundreds of thousands that are talking about their workout and talking about Beachbody and talking about Shakeology and how this is so great and they're so happy. And I got my workout in, even though my kids were up all night, I got my workout in. Like, it's so much more than that. And if you don't have your story nailed down, you're just another Beachbody coach. Okay, and then number 4 is sealing the deal. So are you connecting with at least 3 new people every single day? That's awesome, but that's not enough to move this business forward. It's not. If you're going for Emerald, you need to be talking to 10 new people a day. If you're wanting Diamond, talk to 20 new people a day. The more people you talk to, the bigger your goals can be. Because if you're talking to just 3 new people a day, your goals aren't, you can't have very big goals because you're not going to get there just talking to that small little bit of people. Even if it's consistent, you're not going to talk to enough people every single day. This doesn't have to take a lot of time, but you do have to be laser focused when you do this. You have to have 0 distractions when you are doing this. That means get off Facebook. Like, stop scrolling. We hear it all the time, but we still do it. I catch myself doing it all the time. And I'm like, oh my God, Megan, like, stop. And it's like this addiction. I'm like, one more. And I keep scrolling and I keep scrolling. I'm like, oh my God, I'm still doing it. Like, it's like an addiction. You can't stop. So you have to like not even go there. Don't be a slave to your inbox. When you are firing out these messages, do not be a slave to your inbox. You do not have to respond the second somebody responds to you. That is what is going to distract you. And how are you going to ever message those 20 new people that you need to a day if you are constantly being a slave? And oh shit, she messaged me back. Okay, I gotta, and then it keeps going. And all of a sudden you've talked to that one person for the last 20 minutes. And now the kids are up in your face and want a snack and it's over and you talk to one person. So you have to leave your inbox and you have to be okay with that. And that has taken me a very long time to leave my inbox. Like, I remember messaging Michelle not too long ago and saying like, is it okay that my inbox is full right now? Like, it was stressing me out, but I knew I couldn't get to it. So you have to be okay with that. Do not be a slave to your inbox. That's like my biggest advice, because it gets overwhelming and you will not move forward at all. Okay, laser focused. See, I get off my notes and I don't even know what I'm talking about. So we need to be sending friend requests every single day. This is not news at all, but are we doing it? Like, are we legitimately sending friend requests every single day? Because if you're not, you're talking to the exact same people. So now that I've started to use my personal page, I've sort of had to change my system a little bit, because I had my system like nailed in place, and my coaches will know, because I have they started doing this system right away, because I walked them through it step by step of what my system is, and I know that they have done that as well. But now that I'm using my personal page as well for my business, it sort of has changed things, because there isn't this urgency to get them into my support group, because there was a huge urgency. When I wasn't posting on my personal page, I would add these people as friends, and I was like, holy shit, I got to get them off my personal page. Like, I need to get them in my group, because there's no value on my personal page. But now that my personal page is just as good as my support group, I don't feel this sense of urgency to move them on in to my group, if that makes sense. So I can let them linger out there on my friends list and just see what I have to offer. So what I do is I send I'm diligent with at least 10 friend requests every single day. Again, don't go overboard, because you'll go to jail, Facebook jail. So I send my friend requests, and the next day I go and I look at who accepted my friend requests. And I kind of I'll pick out some that I can really see that, like, okay, they look so awesome. They're holding a baby and a toddler. Like, it looks like someone I really want to connect with. I put them on my interest list. So you can create an interest list on Facebook, and I sort of put them all in there, like April new friend requests, and they go in my interest list. So I can spend like 2 minutes a day going to my interest list, and I quickly scroll through these people that I'm sort of wanting to attract, and I can like their stuff and comment on their stuff. And then every couple days I sort of do this like dump into my support group. So the people who I've been friends with for a few days, because they've stayed friends with me, so they obviously sort of like what I have going on, if they're even seeing my content on my personal page. But I add them into my support group then. And then I feel like it's not as icky as like, okay, you accepted my friend request, in you go. Like, boom, boom, boom. It's more of this, like, they sort of expect it. They've seen what I have to offer, and now this is just a little addition to what I have to offer. Because I do like my group. It feels very like homey to me. So that's how I'm sort of adding them in. And then, a month from now, I feel okay about connecting with them, and even throwing it out there like, hey, because they'll start to like your stuff. They'll start to like your stuff and comment on your stuff. And so you're engaging with them. So then a month from now, you can invite them. You can invite them to join a challenge group. Heck, if you think that they would make an awesome coach, just tell them, like, because you've been watching them, they've been watching you, and it's okay. But you have to you can't just send out these cold invites without ever connecting with someone. You can't, because you don't know what their needs are. You don't know even if this would benefit them. Obviously, it benefits everybody, but some people aren't there yet. So you need to know if it's going to benefit them and why it's going to benefit them. Because it's not for you, right? Like, we have to get out of the whole mindset like we're inviting for us. We want it to change their life. We have the solution for them, but what is that solution? We don't know unless you know the person. It could be that they want to lose 5 pounds, or it could be that they have no confidence, or that they, like, I don't know. It could be a lot of things, but if you don't know, you don't really have a right to invite these people. So you have to sort of have connected with them on a little bit of a level, in my opinion. I know there are people that send out cold invites and just have never talked to somebody. I just think that's kind of icky, because if that happened to me, I would be like, what the hell is this, right? So think of how you would respond to a cold invite. I wouldn't respond well to it, but that's, again, just me. Okay. So again, that all ties into is how's your foundation? If you're adding these people in, what's your foundation looking like? Are you wanting to attract these people? Are you attracting these people? Are you laying a really solid foundation for them to see? I think that's sort of all I had. Yeah. So I gave you guys action items. I gave you, you need to finish your avatar. Take some time. Do your avatar. Make sure your foundation looks good. Are you posting about all the things you need to post about? Do you have a story? You do have a story, but do you know what your story is? Have you taken the time to figure out your story and get it out on paper? And are you sharing tidbits from your story every single day? Are you different than the other 400,000 coaches out there? You have to be. Or you are never going to get to diamond. You're never going to move up the ladder. You never will. If you are exactly like all the other Beachbody coaches that just launched their business, you have to be different. And you have to have your story. So those are the action items. If you choose to not do those action items, that's up to you, but your business isn't going to go anywhere. So this is like homework. And are you going to be a good student? And are you going to do the things that work? Or are you going to just let them go and just keep doing what you're doing? If what you're doing is working, awesome, keep doing it. If it's not working, really take some time and figure out these little steps that maybe you're missing along the way. That's all I got.
Very good. Awesome info as always there, Megan. And like Megan said, this isn't stuff that's new to you guys. Like, you've heard all of this before from me, from different YouTube videos. Like, it's the same information portrayed in a different way, in different words. But you are the only one that can do this for yourself. So you have to have a gut check with yourself and say, okay, do I really want this thing? Do I really want it to work? And you have to make that choice. There's nothing wrong with only wanting to cover your Shakeology costs. But my guess is if you're on this call at, like I say this every Saturday, because we got lots of shit to do, right? We all have a lot of stuff to do. So if you're still here at 9:51 on a Saturday morning, my guess is you want this to happen. Are you getting Success Club? Are you adding coaches to your team? Like, gut check yourself right now. Are you meeting your goals? If you are not, you freaking need to do these steps. You need to take an hour today. Maybe that means you have to say to your husband, I need an hour. Like, what's wrong with needing an hour to work on something for yourself? You need to do it because it changes your business. And it will. Not overnight, not tomorrow, but if you're consistently doing this stuff, it's going to make you successful. You can't not be successful in this business if you consistently do this stuff every single day. I did want to touch on the 3 invites thing. This just dawned on me a couple weeks ago. I am not like Megan. I am not laser focused, and I do not have this system that is just like really hardcore. That's never been me. So be okay if you're not that person. What I love about myself and celebrate about myself is I never said to myself, I am going to send out 10 friend requests and I am going to message 3 people. I just kept doing it all day. I never stopped. So there's some days I probably send out 50 messages. I don't keep track, really. Like, I keep track of the important stuff in Teamsy, but then I'll get going with just my little one-liners. Hey, I just saw your picture of your little girl. So cute. Send. I do not record that in Teamsy. I do not. I'm sorry. I don't. But I probably send out 20 of those a day. I just keep going until I die in bed. And that is how I have done it. That is why I'm where I am. I've never put this limit. I talked about time in my live video this morning on my personal page. And we're all so into these like little, okay, if I do 3 a day, that's going to get me where I want to go. It's not. You just have to keep going. Just because you hit Success Club 5, don't freaking put your feet up on the coffee table. Keep going. Keep doing all those things every single day. And that's what I've done. I just never stopped. I just never limited. I never had a number in my head. I just kept going. So yesterday I probably sent out 10. It was Good Friday. I was making food and going to family stuff. I didn't have time. And by the time I got home, I was mentally done. But today I've already probably fired off 50. And they're not big messages. They're like, hey, thanks for liking my post. Hey, I saw your little girl's picture. You know, like that kind of message is really easy. I don't put a limit on it. I go until I can't go anymore. My life was always in little tiny cracks. I never ever had big amounts of time because I was with clients all day. So it was like little tiny cracks of time, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. And I just went for it. So if you're like me, and that's what I mean, there's so many different ways you can set up your own sort of system. If you're like me, don't feel overwhelmed by having to have this like really set in stone system, because you don't. You can be successful both ways. There are going to be people that like that. As long as I do 10 a day, as long as I do 5 messages, then you stay with that concrete system. But don't worry if that's not you. Don't pressure yourself, because you'll lose a lot of time trying to make the system and it'll never work, because I've been there. I've heard so many calls that you need this concrete system. Well, that's just not me. And I work better in an opposite way. So you need to find what's going to work for you to make sure you do the steps. You can't give yourself excuses why you're not doing those steps every day. You just have to find your way. I hope that makes sense, because there's so many different ways to make this work. You just have to make sure those steps are getting done. So there might be a day that you don't get it done. You don't get your goals. Well, you don't get the messages that you would like. Well, tomorrow you got to make up for it. You got to get them sent out eventually. Every day, every week, however you're going to make it work for you. You want to be talking to, at the end of the day, you want to be talking to a lot of people. Not selling them things, just talking to them.
Yeah, and basically, like if you're not getting to your goals every single month, just do more. Like do more than what you did last month, right? Like I don't count how many messages I send out either. It's just I send out as many as I can in the time frame that I have throughout the day. But what I'm doing is working. I'm meeting my goals. I'm adding people to my team. If I wasn't, I'd be taking a look at, okay, so how many people am I actually talking to? Because I'm not talking to enough, obviously. And then I would bump that up. I would double that. So if you're sitting here and you're not hitting Success Club yet, or you're not adding coaches to your team, or last month you didn't hit any of your goals, you got to bump it up. You got to double it at least. That's how you get to your goals, because it didn't work last month. And maybe it didn't work the month before either. So you got to change something. And that's usually it's talking to more and more and more people.
And I know that you guys are sitting there, but where do I talk? How do I find new people? I know you're all sitting there thinking that right now. I know. You know how I find new people? My social media is on point. When my social media falters, so what I mean by that is my posts on my page falter and they have no meat to them and I'm not being vulnerable, nobody likes them. Nobody cares, because I'm just like all the other people posting on social media. But when I start sharing me, really how I'm feeling and what's going on in my life, like you can bet your bottom dollar, yesterday when I shared about missing my dad at Easter, I today now have 120 people to go message, because I shared how I was feeling. That's part of my story right now. It's part of my whole being, is the fact that every day's hard because I miss him. So when I share that with people and I'm open, and don't think that it's not hard for me to do that. one thing I hate is all the comments, oh, Michelle, yes, it's hard. I know. I'm not asking for people's empathy. I don't need empathy. I feed off of everyone's energy. That's why I love my live videos, because I'm feeding off of energy. I'm getting energy from people. I'm not looking for empathy. That was something that held me back all the time from being vulnerable. I was worried people were thinking I was looking for attention. And I bet you're feeling like that. I don't want to post my workout because people are just going to think I'm looking for attention. That's not it. I'm feeding off of everyone's energy. I'm feeling the energy of someone that comments saying, oh my God, that's awesome. Or them sending me a message saying, you made me work out today because I saw your picture. That makes me want to keep going. Being vulnerable on your posts is when you are going to attract your tribe and you're going to be able to build relationships with them. That's how you find people. You share your story on social media. You know, yes, you have to add the friends, you have to do all those things. But to get connected with them, your first step is to be sharing your vulnerable story on social media. So it all ties back to Megan's call. You got to figure out what your story is. And then you take little bits of it every single day and share it. I hope that makes sense.
I feel that a lot because I struggle with anxiety, as I've shared, and depression. But I feel like when I post about that people think, oh, you know, poor her. Like, she's just looking for me to be, you know, like she's looking for attention or whatever, you know. So lately I haven't really been sharing about that because I feel like, I don't know, I feel that way.
I know, Elaine, every time I share about my dad, I get all these comments, oh, he's with you. I'm like, oh, fuck off. I know he's with me. That is not why I'm talking about this. Like, it drives me crazy. But I always just think about, I know myself, I'm not looking for empathy about it. I'm good. Like, I know that I actually don't believe that bull crap that he's with me. I think he's in heaven, having a drink, having a good time. He's not worried about me, you know, but whatever, that makes people feel better and they love commenting back. So I just like totally don't even think about that stuff anymore. I just think I'm sharing this because I think I'm going to help people. I get messages every single day from grieving people. So I know for 100% sure me sharing that today is going to help someone. So I just go into it with that mindset. And I go into it that me sharing, it gives me energy back, because the comments are like, the good comments that I really, really like give me energy to keep going. And that's how I look at it now. I just don't even, it's like, put your blinders on. You know that you are helping. I am sure you've had a gazillion messages from other moms that feel anxiety, right? So just think about them. Like, I actually have one person that I often think about before I go and do a live video, because I usually talk about a topic that I've covered somewhere else, you know, in my challenge group, or I've had a message from someone about something, because that's usually how it all triggers in my mind. And I literally imagine her when I'm doing the live video. So just, it's like one of those things. You just got to put your blinders on and feed off the stuff that's going to help you instead of that negative stuff. It gets me sometimes. Like, sometimes even in my video, as the comments are coming, I'll like retaliate against it. I'm like, I'm not looking for your sad story. Like, get over it, you know, because it really does drive me crazy. But I have to just forget about those people and do it for the reasons that I'm doing it.
And especially when you're posting on your personal page, you'll get haters. Like, I had somebody post an article on their personal page that said, anybody who posts about their workout are narcissists. Like, they're looking for attention. And I got really offended by that. So I actually commented on the article, and but my husband, he reminded me, he's like, Heidi, you're inspiring people. So don't let that, like, why are you sharing your workouts? Don't let this one person who posted an article about that you're just looking for attention, because that's not why you're doing it. So you have to just get that out of your mind for that one or two or a handful of people that aren't going to get it. Because handful of people that do and that are inspired by it. So
and
I just gotta share it.
It all comes back to people are envious. I mean, Megan and I, when we started coaching, we had a cousin, like we share family. She did blog posts that would literally retaliate against something we just posted. Like I would post, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. You have 30 minutes to get a workout done. Bam. The next day she had a blog post about, oh yeah, maybe we do all have 24 hours in a day, but you don't have 4 kids. Like, and she's like my family. And oh my God, I just remembered this is recorded. I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel. I may not share this video just because of that. Anyways, like it's envy, right? It's envy. That's all it boils down to all the time. And you just have to, it used to bug me so much. Like that blog, I remember that took me down for a couple weeks because I felt sick that other people that I knew agreed with what she said. And of course, because we're so ridiculous, and especially at that time in my life, I was so insecure. I went back to the blog like every day to see who agreed with it and liked it and commented it, just to like stab myself a few more times. You know, I was silly, but it all ends up being out of envy of another person. And you just have to remember that there's always going to be people that are like that. There's just always, you can't let them worry. If you're having trouble with that, it means you need more personal development. And that was me back then, like 2 years ago. I needed a lot more personal development because I couldn't work through those things myself. And I still have moments, don't get me wrong. Like there's still comments that happen that really make me, take a step back. And then I just have to really think about it myself, why I'm doing this, and have belief in it. You got to believe in this and believe in yourself and believe in that what you're doing is really making the difference that you want it to make. We all have different reasons why we're doing this. And that's what you have to really tune into when the harder times happen. But I think that happens to all of us. Andrea, first of all, happy birthday, Andrea. I don't always have the knack for putting it into words. How do I get better writing? Andrea, you got to keep writing. I sucked at first too. You just have to keep going. I'm sure there are copy courses out there on how to be a better writer, but personally, I think it's just going with it. Like sharing, first of all, figure out what you want to write about. So again, figure out your story and figure out who you're talking to. And then it's going to flow a little bit easier. If you're having a lot of trouble, most likely you're trying to talk to the masses and you haven't figured out your story. So you really need to think about those questions that Megan talked about. Why am I doing this? How did I feel when I started? Andrea, when you and I first started talking, why did you join? Like, why? Ask yourself that question and then write about it. Once you dial into your reasons, like everyone, ask yourself the question, why did I sign up to be a coach? Like, why? We all had a reason, and then share that. I hope that makes sense, but I really think that you need to write more and write in your own words more instead of, I welcome anyone to take my posts and whatever. If you feel good about that, go for it. But honestly, you're not going to attract anyone by taking my posts. Like, go for it. I don't care. What's mine is yours. But you're not going to attract your tribe taking my posts, right? And even just kind of switching the words a little bit. It's really not talking to your people. You can take take the idea of the post and then craft it yourself. That's where you're going to attract I do that all the time. I do that every morning. I have coaches that inspire me are in my news feed. That's what I have. So I might see Melanie Mitro post, I don't know, make it a habit. Like I might see her say, make it a habit. And I'll say, oh yeah, that's good. Let's make it a habit. And then I'll go write my own thing. But I'll get the idea from her. The idea is fine.
I think it's so easy to get, like I've done it myself, is I'll see another coach do a post and like I'll try and make it my own because I love what she did, and I'll spend Like if it's taking you a long time to craft a post, just stop and do something else. Because if it's taking you that long to get the words, like you're not being you and you're not talking about your story. Like you're almost trying to copy what someone else did and make it sound as good as they made it sound. And it's not going to sound like you. Like I've done posts where I'm like, that wasn't even me. It doesn't even sound like me. And people get confused. Like we talked about this on our call this past Thursday about the scripts. And I've been very forthcoming with all my scripts and, use my scripts. And I think scripts serve a really good place for a brand new coach because it sort of gets them to understand how we sort of can share and just like how you have conversations with people. But if you are consistently using someone else's scripts, like Kate said this, she was using my scripts the first time messaging someone, and then she would start having a conversation with them, and she realized like, God, they must be so confused because that first message, that wasn't me at all. That's not how I even talk. And now I'm talking the way I talk, but they must be like, who is this chick? Like, it's like talking to two different people. So you have to really just post what you are feeling and not what you see I myself do or Michelle does or Melanie Mitchell. Like, yeah, take the inspiration. But if it's taking you a long time to figure out what to say, you're overthinking it and you're trying to be someone else, I think.
Yeah, I just did this last Sunday night. I had crazy busy day, and Sunday night, everyone's like, oh my God, I got to have my best post of the week out on Sunday night. So I was feeling totally overwhelmed. I quickly scrolled and found like a top coaches, basically coach invite thing, CTA. And I'm like, oh my God, I love it. That's exactly what I want to say. 45 minutes later, I was almost in tears because I was trying to change this to make it sound like me, but use her words. And then I would get nervous because I like, no, that Michelle, you just copied. Like, you got to change it again. I ended up posting nothing. And I felt like the biggest asshole because I just screwed away 45 minutes, first of all, that I didn't have. And I didn't end up with anything. And it was all because I was trying to basically copy everything. I should have just opened up the damn page and wrote what I was feeling. Overwhelmed. Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted on a Sunday night? Well, like just write how you feel, write how you talk. I heard a podcast the other day, and he writes a blog every single day and has for like 25 years. Every single day he's written a blog post. And the interviewer said, like, how do you come up with stuff? And he goes, well, you know what? I'm never not able to talk. Like, I always wake up and I can talk, and I just write how I talk. I literally, as I'm talking in my head, I write it. And I went to his blog, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It's just like he's talking. And that's the truth. You never stop talking. We never wake up and like can't say anything. Just write what you're feeling in your mind and write how you talk. That's something that comes very naturally to me and maybe not as naturally to other people. But if you can tune into, that conversation going on and just write it, you're going to be sharing your vulnerable story. And that's what's going to connect with your tribe. All right. Can I get everybody that's still here to turn their camera on? And we're going to take a really nice screenshot. And then I challenge everyone at some point in time this weekend to have a nice coaching, or not coaching, but the reason why you would be here this morning. Why are you hanging out with us on our team call this morning? So Christina, Andrea, can we see your faces? Rachel, I think that must be Rachel. Okay. If there's a few that aren't here, that's fine, but just let me get here. Maybe if some other of you guys have your camera out too, you can do this, but I will take this with my little camera. All right, let's go. Oh, someone came on late. Okay, awesome. That's everybody. Okay, good. Okay, big smiles, guys. Just let me do one more, okay? All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. Happy Saturday, everybody. Bye.
Was that 90 yet?